Sukhi Hotu, and welcome to Buddhist Mahavihara's Dhammadana series. We are here this Sunday to listen to a very young and upcoming, interesting, dynamic new Dhamma teacher. This Dhamma teacher has been to Buddhist Mahavihara before. He has conducted our Dhamma sermons here for about 3 weeks in Malaysia in, if I'm not mistaken, 2019. And this Bhante will be actually talking about how to break the cycle of samsara. And Bhante will make reference to the Udaya Sutta. And he's basically telling human beings to use their intellect to overcome their mundane problems. Without much ado, I would now like to invite Bhante Dr. Yasassi Thera to join us in the studio. Good evening, Bhante.
Good
Nice to see
evening.
you again. Nice to see you
Nice
again
to
after a
see
long
you,
time.
Mr.
Yeah.
Leslie.
Bhante,
After
for
a long
those of you,
time.
good evening, Bhante. So for those of you who are not very familiar with Dr. Yasassi, let me quickly read his profile. Bhante Dr. P. Yasassi Thera is a senior lecturer at the University of Sri Jayewardenepura in Sri Lanka. He's also the visiting lecturer at the Buddhist and Pali University Sri Lanka, the Kalinian University, as well as the University of Colombo. Bhante is a scholar in Buddhist culture, civilization, and Buddhism and management. The discipline encompasses research and related to Buddhist studies, and he has also authored 5 books, one of which is called The Buddhist Attitude to Free Will and Quest. Bhante has also presented his research papers at many national and international conferences. I'm sure Bhante will be giving us a very enlightened Dhamma sermon this evening. And as I mentioned earlier, the title is called Breaking the Cycle of Samsara. I'd now like to invite Bhante Yasassi to start this evening's Dhamma sharing. Bhante, please.
Sukhi hotu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Punappunang ceva vapanti bijang punappunang vassati deva raja punappunang kettang kasanti kassaka punappunang danya mupeti prattanti. Dear Dhamma friends, first of all I wish you a good evening and a very joyful life. Even though we are in a very difficult period for more than 1 year, we are very happy to see even through this kind of Dhamma sermon discussion, Dhamma talk. So first of all, I would like to say thanks the organizers of the Buddhist Mahavihara, including Mr. Leslie, for organizing this kind of a very fruitful and productive Dhamma talks, a series of Dhamma talks, and welcome all of you for today's talk that is conducted by I myself. So at the very beginning, I would like to say that I am not a very popular Dhamma speaker, Dhamma, who is conducting many Dhamma talks, but as a university teacher in Sri Lanka, I try to talk something about the breaking the cycle of samsara, as already know about this topic. In today's Dhamma talk, especially the Sunday Dhamma talk is based on Sutta discussion. Therefore, I found a kind of very interesting Sutta, which is found in Samyutta Nikaya. You know that Sutta Pitaka consists of 5 main books: Diga Nikaya, Majjhima Nikaya, Samyutta Nikaya, Anguttara Nikaya, and Kuddaka Nikaya. Out of these 5 books, Samyutta Nikaya in Samyutta Nikaya, there are certain suttas preached by the Buddha to different people. We'll say one example. There is a chapter called Devata Samyutta, which includes the suttas preached by the Buddha to Devas. On the other hand, there is another chapter called Devaputta Samyutta. It comprises the suttas preached by the Buddha to the young Devas. Devaputta, it means the young princess of the Devaloka. In the same way, there is a chapter called Brahmana Samyutta, which includes the discourses or the suttas preached by the Buddha to Brahmins, Brahmanas, or the Brahmins at the time of the Buddha. So today Dhamma talk is based on a sutta found in Brahmana Samyutta of Samyutta Nikaya 1. The name of the sutta is as you know, Udaya Sutta. So there is a very interesting story behind this this discourse. Before starting the discussion on the topic, I would like to draw your attention on the story that led to influence the Buddha to preach Dhamma. So that is a kind of the story that took place between one Brahmana and also alone with the Buddha. Once the Buddha, the blessed one, the Buddha was staying at the Jetavanaramaya of Savatthi, Savatnuara. While the Buddha was staying there, once early in the morning, Buddha woke up and he thought that to whom should I pay my attention today, something like that. That is called Mahakaruna Samapatti. So with the Buddha's great compassion, the Buddha reflected to whom should I go and whose doorstep should I go to enlighten. Then he saw that there was a Brahmin called Udaya. So in the early morning, the Buddha, having taken his begging bowl and having wear his clothes properly, he went to the doorstep of the Brahmin Udaya. Then on the very first day, while the Buddha was coming to his own house, he offered a full of food, milk rice, full of food, rice to the Buddha's bowl and offered that to the Buddha, and Buddha left to the monastery. Again, even in the second day, Buddha returned. Buddha again came to the place where the Udaya Brahmin's house, and even in the second day, the Brahmin Udaya offered alms to the Buddha by filling entire begging bowl. Again, the third day, Buddha did not stop his arrival to Udaya's house. Even in the third day, the Buddha visited again the Udaya Brahmin's house, and he was staying in front of the house. Then on the third day, Udaya, the Brahmin who gave 2 meals to the Buddha, on that day, having offered food or the meal to the Buddha, he made a voice and he said that the Gautama, the Buddha Gautama, the recluse Gautama is always coming to my own house by requesting food, and he has been, appetite the food in my house, something like that. He has he said that he is always coming to my own house by tasting the food in my house. So this incident took place at that time. Buddha, without talking any words, he made a kind of Dhamma sermon to the Brahmin Udaya. So what does this Dhamma sermon includes? That is the very interesting part of this today's Dhamma talk. That is what the Buddha said. Certain gradual incidents took place in the universe. So that reflects the two words punappunang. Puna means again. Punappunang means again and again. So the sutta says, Punappunang cheva vapanti bijang punappunang vassati devaraja. Punappunang kettang kasanti kassaka punappunang danya mupeti ratthan. Here I'll tell you the meaning of this stanza. This stanza says some of the very simple occurrences in the universe, in our society, that the people practice in their day-to-day life. You know that first verse says punappunang cheva vapanti bijam. Bija means seeds. So the farmers again and again the seeds are sown. It means the seeds all get planted again and again by the farmers. That is, they are gradually in as a habitual action they are doing every year. They don't stop. They are sowing the seeds in their paddy fields. So Buddha reminded this incident to Udaya, the Brahmin Udaya. Then punappunang vassati devaraja. Here vassati means the rains. You know the deva, the term, Pali term deva is used to denote the rains or the rain god. So the Buddha says that punappunang vassati devaraja, the rains comes down again and again. Or the rain god sprinkles rains again and again. It means that the rains doesn't stop and it again and again comes down. So the second example Buddha reflected to Brahmin Udaya. Again, thirdly, Buddha says that punappunang kettang kasanti kassaka. Here kassaka means farmers. So the farmers again and again till the fields. Till means the farmers farm the fields, paddy fields. They don't stop there tilling the fields or the farming. They are conducting that farming every day, and they are engaged in as a circle. They are engaged in their cultivation again and again without stopping. So here you see then at the end what happened? Punappunang danyang mupeti rattang. It means that food is provided again and again for the country when all these things occur. You know that if the farmers are not harvesting, then there would be a shortage of foods to the world. What we are eating, what we are having as the Kabalinkara Ahara, they are prepared by the farmers, and due to their activities, their cultivation. So when they stops that, what will happen? We have to face many problems in using the food. So this very nice, interesting examples were delivered by the Buddha. Buddha reminded these examples to the Brahmin Udaya. Again, that says that when something happens again and again, what will happen? That would be beneficial not only for the doer of the action but also the beneficiaries of the beneficiaries who are gaining advantages through that activity. So that is one very interesting examples what I said. Then second stanza again it says another few occurrences that took place again and again in the society. Punappunang yachaka yachayanti. Yachaka means the yachaka means beggars. So the nature of the beggars they are again and again they engage in begging. They don't stop that. Also they don't stop they are using that as their profession. So the nature of the beggars are again and again or the over and over they are engaged in begging. That is their occupation or their profession. So while the beggars are again and again begging, what will happen? Punappunang danapati dadanti. Danapati means the givers donates gifts again and again. Punappunang danapati dadanti. Danapati means one who donate. The givers donates again and again. He don't stop his giving. So that is the nature of the giver, the donator, or something like that. Then third line says punappunang danapati daditva punappunang saggamupetitana. So the givers having given again and again, having donated again and again, as a result of that, they will go to the heavenly places. Having donated, having given again and again, they are going to the heavenly places, very pleasant places in their sansaric existence. So this example, this simile clearly points out some of the occurrences that took place in the society that we experience in our day-to-day life. Here, the most important thing is that the Buddha wanted to show this Brahmin Udaya to how to do something again and again, how to happen something again and again, and it's how its results can be gained by practice in that again and again. So then the second stanza that has given, as I said earlier, beggars are begging over and over. Then the givers, the donors are donating over and over again and again. They are repeating their donations, and having offered the things donated, the givers, the donors will go to the heavenly places. That is the second stanza of this Udaya Sutta. So I suppose that that is also a very interesting part. Then I will explain the third stanza. It says that Punappunang Kiranika Duhanti. Kiranika means the cowboy who is taking the milk from the cow. He always try to collect the milk, or he always milking from the cow. So every day that is a gradual activity of the cowboy who is taking the milk from the cow. So he never stops that until he leaves, until the cow provides the milk, he never stops. Then punappunang vacho upeti matarang. Vacho means the calf. The calf again and again goes to the mother. there is a strategy that the cowboys are using to collect milk from the cow. First, he keep the calf nearby the, he keep the calf nearby the cow. At that time, it says that the cow produce milk more and more because of the compassionate towards the infant. Sometimes that is one strategy used by the cowboys. There is another strategy that they are keeping, they are accompanying the calf nearby the mother's breast. That means cow mother's breast, and then while the calf coming to closer and closer, the cow produces more milk. Then what happened? The cowboy collects all the milk, and that is a kind of strategy used. So there are something repetitive actions that is done by the people. Then punak punang kilamati pandati cha punak punang ghabba mupeti mando. There is one statement here that is very important. That is punang punang ghabba mupeti mando. It means one tires and throbs again and again. Punang punang kilamati pandati. One is facing the frustration, many difficulties, unsatisfactoriness, even the physical and mentally, the dissatisfaction we are facing again and again. We are facing the troubles again and again, and then having facing all these things, punah punang gabba mupeti mando. Manda means the foolish one. Punah punang gabba mupeti, again and again, comes to the world, comes to the sansaric life, sansaric existence. He never stops until his foolishness exists. He never stops his journey throughout the sansaric life. That is the nature of the foolish one. Then while he was coming to the sansaric existence, what will happen? The Buddha says that punah punang jayati miyati. Jayati means he will be reborn again and again. That means the foolish one, he gets birth again and again. Someone is born again and again. So while we are going through this sansaric existence, the most repetitive thing is we are facing to, we have to be born again and again. Then punah punang jayati miyati. Miyati means when we are getting birth, definitely we have to die. We have to pass away. We cannot stop. We cannot terminate the death, or we cannot terminate the in the sansaric existence before the attaining enlightenment or the nibbana. So until the attaining enlightenment, someone everyone would be born again and again, and they will die again and again. They will pass away again and again. Then after the passing away, what will happen? Punah punang sivatikam harante. Sivatika means, sivatika means the dead body. When we are passing away, the dead body would be taken to the cemetery again and again. It doesn't keep inside your house. When a person dies, you don't keep the dead body inside the house. If it is keeping in your house, in your garden, in your any other place, it will be destroyed, and you hate that, and you will refuse to keep it there. So the that would be taken to the that would be taken to the cemetery again and again. Don't keep it in your premises or anywhere. So then Buddha says that Magganta Ladha Anupubhavaya na punappunang jayati buri panyo. It means that gain in the path someone are not born again. The wise are not born again and again. Then we have to identify who will be, he won't be born again and again. That is the wise. Wise means, the one who has enlightened. So the Buddha, Pacceka Buddha, Arahants are considered the wise people, wise men in the society, in the universe. It means that until the samsara, until we terminate the samsaric existence, what will happen? We are recycling all these things in our life, in our day-to-day life. We are recycling. We cannot avoid all these things until terminate in our life by attaining enlightenment. So this is the story behind this sutta. However, this conversation took place between the Buddha and Brahmin Udaya. Then Brahmin Udaya, Buddha explained these things, some kind of repetitive actions that happened in the universe, happen in our day-to-day life, happen in our society again and again. Then having taken this into example, Buddha clearly explained how to do something again and again until the attaining enlightenment or the Nibbana. So I'll say one example. Here there is a statement called Punappunang the Danapati Daditwa Punappunang Sarvamupetitanang. The donors, the givers, they are giving again and again, and having given again and again, they will be born in the heavenly places. You suppose that the Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, as well as one who needs to overcome this sansaric, break in the cycle of sansara, there are certain strategies to be practiced. On the other hand, the sansara is a kind of circle or cycle. The Buddha also said that sansara is a cycle. There are three major characteristics of every phenomenon in the universe. Tinimani bhikkave sankatassa sankata lakkanani katamani tini uppado panyayati titassa anya tattang panyayati then vayo panyayati. There are three characteristics of every phenomenon, sanskaras in the universe. They are uppado panyayati, means they are arising. That means upcoming or the rising. Then titasa vayo panyayati, it means vanishing. Then in between rising and vanishing, the period is called titasa anyatatta, it means exist. So the rising, existing and vanishing. So as far as concern the humans, we born as a little infants. Then we are maintaining our life by passing childhood, youngster, even the middle age and up to the old age. So that is the nature of the sansaric journey, life circle going on. Then at the end we will we will have to face the eternal. We will have to face the death. Then having died, again we will be born in the another next sansaric existence, next sansaric life. So it is a kind of cycle. As you know, sansara is a cycle. You cannot terminate this sansaric cycle until the attaining enlightenment. The Buddha once said that the sansara is countless lives we have maintained, we have been born in countless lives during our in our sansaric existence. We cannot number how many lives you have already completed your sansaric journey. It is clearly mentioned in the Anamatagga Sangyutta of Sangyutta Nikaya. It says that Anamataggoyang Sansaro Pubba Kotina Panyayati. We cannot find out the starting point of sansaric life. Even we cannot definitely say the central point or the central point of the sansaric existence. And we cannot definitely say, we cannot predict definitely when our sansaric life would be terminated. That is the nature of the sansaric existence. I'll give you a few examples. Once the Buddha said that the countless lives we have completed during our sansaric life through the similes. One simile, Buddha says that, that you have verily shed tears upon the lone way more than there is water in the four oceans in our sansaric existence. Whenever our father dies, mother dies, because of the death of our father, death of our mother, death of our brothers, sisters, and the relatives, something like that. It means that during our sansaric existence, we have shed tears from our eyes, rather than more than the water found in the four oceans. The Buddha says that only when our father died, the tear that we have fallen down, that we have shed into the ground, if we collected them, that is, they are more than the water in the four oceans. The Buddha says, you try to understand how lone sansaric existence we are maintaining. That is one example the Buddha pointed out. Again, Buddha pointed out another example, very simple example. Your blood flow by the loss of your heads. When you were born as oxen, buffaloes, then rams, goats, etc., for the sake of others' food. The Buddha says that. So the blood flow that we have fallen down to this universe, to this ground, is equivalent to the more than the water in the four oceans. It means that you suppose that we have shed our blood whenever our forehead is beheaded, our head is beheaded by being born as the animals in killing us for the sake of the food of others, providing food for others. That simile says how long, how much times we have been born in the animal world in our sansaric existence, and we have sacrificed our life for the sake of the others' happiness, others' food. So that is one example. Again, another example, the Buddha says that if the when we are going to the when our death occurred, when we died, the bones that is collected from that is remain in our dead body, if those things were collected, that would be a very huge mountain rather than the Mahameru Parvataya. As we know, the largest mountain in the universe is called Mahameru Pabbata, Mahameru Parvata. So the bones that we have left from our body in our sansaric existence are rather than the size of the Mahameru Pabbata or the something like that. So these examples clearly pointed out that clearly mentioned that how long we have engaged in the sansaric life, sansaric existence. So during this sansaric existence, we are being born again and again in different spheres in the universe, different places in the universe. Like, it is mentioned in Buddhism that there are 31 places where the beings are born. Out of them, eight the in number eight is called the 11 is called the Kama Vachara Loka. The Kama Vachara worlds, Kama Vachara spheres. They are the 6 heavens and 4 hells, and also the human world. These 11 are known as Kama Vachara worlds. So we are being born repetitively in these spheres, these places during our sansaric life. So in this life, we have been born as a human being. But we don't know what will happen next. We don't know how, in which place we came from the last our last life, last existence. We don't know. We cannot imagine even after 5 sansaric lives where will be born, something like that. So they call Kama Vachara world. Then Rupa Vachara worlds. There are, the 4 Rupa Vachara. Then Arupa Vachara worlds. 4 Arupa Vachara and Rupa Vachara 16, something like that. There are certain places to be born. So we are having born again and again. We are going through this cycle of samsara. The Buddha says that therefore what we have to do is we have to break down this sansaric existence. We should try to terminate this sansaric life, sansaric existence. So since while we are coming to this, this life, this sansaric life, we cannot, it is not easy for us to terminate our sansaric existence. Therefore, it is a kind of circle. I'll give you one example with a very interesting short story. Once there was a Brahmin called Upasalhaka in India. So while Upasalhaka, the Brahmin, when he was sick, he called upon his son and asked him to, if I died, you may bury or you may put my dead body into a place where there is no one buried earlier. It means that he wanted to bury his, cremate his, bury his dead body in a place where there is no one buried earlier in their sansaric life. But that son was very, intelligent one. Therefore, he said that, dear father or the dada, I cannot find out such kind of place. If you know any place like that, you may inform me, you may show me the place, and then I'll do as you wish. Then that person, the Brahmin, Upasalhaka, he having accompanied his son, he went to a certain place and said that this is the place where my dead body should be cremated or buried. At that time, when this occurred, this conversation got to know by the Buddha. Then the Brahmin informed the Buddha, the son of the Brahmin informed the Buddha that my father said like this. Then the Buddha said that that this Brahmin in the same place, your father Upasalaka had been buried more than 14,000 lives in the same way, in the same name, in his sansaric life. So how can we say the other names with another names, how long he has been buried in this place? It means that the burial of the Upasalaka in the same name have been done more than 14,000 lives, 14,000 times in his sansaric life. So with another names, how many times is countless. In this universe, so in this planet, we cannot find out such kind of place. This simply symbolizes how long we have been, how much we have, how many times we have been born in this sansaric life, how many times we have died, we have passed away, and we have buried in our sansaric existence. Therefore, you can clearly identify the nature of the sansaric existence through these examples. So what I wanted you to say is that we are having this kind of a very sansaric existence. Then what we have to do is we have to break the cycle of samsara. So in order to break the cycle of samsara, only having collected the material things, we cannot do that. We never terminate our sansaric existence only having collected material things. The Buddha says that some people are very interestingly, they are showing their happiness by thinking of the possessions or the property they have. Buddha said that putta matti dhanam matti tibalo vihanyati atta yattano natti kuto putta kuto dhana. So the foolish one thinks that I have sons and daughters, I have children. Putta matti dhanam matti, same foolish person thinks and happily thinks, reflect that I have such amount of money, such amount of property, and something like that. So that is the nature of the foolish one. Then Buddha advised that atta hi attano natti kuto putta kuto dhana. when we are traveling in this sansaric existence, no son helps you, no property you are collecting helps you. Everything would be you have very lovely things you have collected, very happy interestingly in your life. Oh, everything will be remain nearby the cemetery. When you are going to the cemetery, after that you will go to your again you will go to the sansaric existence, sansaric life alone, having left everything. So therefore, Buddha said that in order to break the sansaric cycle of samsara, since the samsara is a cycle, in order to break down the cycle of samsara, what you have to do is you have to engage in such kind of meritorious activities again and again. It means repetitive action should be practiced by the individual. So with this explanation, Buddha advised the Udaya Brahmin. So this story clearly says that punapunang gabhamupeti mando. It means that until we are in the society, in the universe as foolish, we cannot wind up our sansaric life. We will be born again and again. So we have to make effort. You have to try to overcome our sansaric existence, having practiced the path that the Buddha prescribed. That is the Sila Samadhi Prajna, threefold training delivered by the Buddha in his very first Sutta Dhammacakkappavattana. You know, a noble eightfold path. You have to practice that. You have to do the meritorious deeds again and again. So there is a nice story, that once Mahakashyapa Thera, once having completed his seven-day cessation, spear, Nirodha Samapatti, states of the cessation, Nirodha Samapatti, having completed 7th day, he reflected, to whom should I go first, and whose food should I accept as the first meal after the 7 days. Then he saw one of the very poor lady who was in a remote village. Then Mahakashyapa Thera went to that poor lady's house in the early morning. Then she was ready to have her breakfast, only the little thing she had. Then what happened? She had nothing inside the house to offer, and she offered what he has prepared for his breakfast to Venerable Mahakashyapa, and then she got very happy with the dana offered by him to Mahakashyapa Thera. Then with that joyful thoughts, joyful concomitants, after few years, that poor lady passed away, and she was born in the heavenly pleasure. And in the heavenly pleasure, heaven, she was known as Laja deity because of her offering. Then what happened was, one day that deity, while having enjoying all the heavenly pleasures that she had collected in her, that she had gained in her life, then what happened? She reflected that which kind of meritorious deed I have done in my sansaric life to gain this kind of a very joyful and pleasureful heavenly life. Then she identified, she reflected that the dana offered to Mahakashyapa Thera. Then she decided to do meritorious deeds again and again because of Mahakashyapa Thera. And early in the morning, she went to the forest monastery where Mahakashyapa Thera was residing. Then, having been there, she by disguise in a life of a lady, uh, having been there, she did all the duties of the monastery in early morning, providing water, cleaning the compounds and everything. Having completed that, she went to the heaven again. So a few days this happened. Then Mahakashyapatera, he reflected who is doing all these duties in the early morning. Then one day he saw that there is a very beautiful lady coming to the monastery and doing all the things. Then he asked who you are, from where you are coming, something like that. Then having I understood what happened, Mahakashyapatera said that you don't come to this temple again because the people will blame me, saying that I will accompany ladies to the temple. Then what happened? Finally, that deity was very upset and she was dissatisfied. She felt very sad because of the Venerable Mahakashyapatera's the saying. Then finally, while she was crying crying, the Buddha's divine eye reflected to her. Then the Buddha said that in that time, Buddha said that Buddha advised the deity, saying that don't stop the meritorious deeds you are doing, even your sons are, even though you have to face many difficulties. Buddha said that Punyanche Puriso Kaira Kaira Tetang Punapunam. One who engaged in meritorious deeds, he has to conduct them, engage them in again and again. Tamni Chandan Kairata, you have to be very interested in, you have to be joyful in doing meritorious deeds. Tamni Chandan Kairata, you have to attach the performing meritorious deeds again and again. Why? Sukho punya sauchayo. Whatever the merits you gain in your deeds, that would be beneficial for you to have a very happy and pleasureful, peaceful life in your sansaric existence. So if you are having very, happy life here in this life, if you are maintaining a happy life, very comfortable life, definitely that is because of the meritorious deeds you have done in your sansaric life. Therefore, be conscious on this point. So the Buddha, having traced in all these things, Buddha explained the Brahmin Udaya to the nature of the happening, the things again and again. So, having explained that, Buddha said that the Brahmin, that lesson I wanted to show you, I wanted to make you enlightened with this lesson. Therefore, don't hesitate to do meritorious deeds again and again. Then, at the end of the sermon, the Brahmin Udaya became enlightened, and he finally he made his statement saying that the Abhikantang Bogotama Seyathavi Bogotama Nikujitang va Ukujaya Patichannang va Vivaraya Mulhasava Magganga Chikaya Andakaro Thera Pajotan Dahariya Chakumanto Rupa Nidakinti. He showed his pleasure having at the end of the Dhamma sermon by saying that he had enlightened, so he became a Buddhist follower. In the same way, this story is very important and useful for our day-to-day religious life. For in order to maintain our spiritual life. We are facing a very difficult period due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Over 1 year, it means over 1.5 years, we are isolating because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So we cannot engage in our physical religious activities physically. We cannot engage in religious activities physically, having been to temples, monasteries, or the viharas and any other place. But even though COVID-19 challenges us, don't hesitate in front of the challenges given by the COVID-19 virus. As the human beings who have a very, the very intelligence mind, we have to we have to be utilize our mind and utilize our intelligence to overcome the challenge given by the COVID-19 pandemic. So therefore, what we have to do is we have to find out alternative ways, alternative strategies to carry out our good deeds, carry out our meritorious deeds without stopping them. Then what will happen? You have to decide. You are the one who has to judge who will be the winner, either COVID-19 or yourself, ourselves. So when COVID-19 wins, then what will happen? That would be harmful for our sansaric existence. Then we have to be the winner. So to be the winner, what we have to do is within this challenging period, we have to physically, even the mentally, verbally, we have to try to cultivate the wholesome deeds, having avoided all the unwholesome and the demeritorious deeds. Therefore, dear Dhamma friends, please be conscious on this point, and even though you are staying in your house, you have to be very conscious on this point and don't hesitate to do the things what you have maintained during your sansaric, during your lifetime. The good things, don't stop them, continue them, just as the Buddha's preaching given to the delivered to the Brahmin Udaya. So with this, advice, I would like to wind up today's talk. So I wish you a very happy, joy, and safe life. Don't without any, without the difficulties to be faced physically and mentally. So I wish you a sukhi hotu, the to be very happy full life. Thank you very much for patience hearing.
Thank you, Bhante. That was a very interesting Dhamma sharing. So I guess as a lesson to be learned from our listeners, as Bhante says, you have to do good things continuously, every day in, day out, or week in, week out. So the fact that you are listening to a Dhamma sermon every Friday and every Sunday means you are already on the right path. So please heed Bhante's advice or to the Sutta's advice from the Udaya Sutta. When something is done continuously, you will reap the benefits. Bhante, there are two questions from the audience. Would you like to answer them? Let me just post that question onto the screen.
As a layperson, what is the best way for us to avoid being born in the four woeful states? In order to avoid being born in the four woeful states, what you have to do is be, control your mind first. Control in mind, and especially, bodily, verbally, and mentally actions you have to control. Then you can overcome to be born in such places. This is called the akusala karma. So we are doing all the akusala, unwholesome deeds by using our body and mind. So that we are doing 3 bodily actions, then 4 verbal actions, and 3 mental actions. So these are called, the mind, chitta, then body, kaya, and words, the vak. So the controlling, if you are able to control these 3, that will be beneficial for you to be born in the heavenly places, avoiding the 4 hells. You know that once there is a nice story. Once a person came to become a Buddhist monk. So most of the people thinks that it is very easy to be a Buddhist monk and maintain monkhood. By thinking that person too, he wanted to become a monk. Having becoming a monk, his teacher, before his ordination, his teacher, the master, said that just after becoming monk, you have to be very careful in protecting, the millions of the hundreds of the disciplinary rules. Then this young person said that it is very difficult for you to control, or it is difficult for you to maintain all the things. Therefore, I cannot become a monk. Even I cannot protect 5 precepts. Then how can I avoid the things like you? How can I become a disciplined person with such kind of thousands of Vinaya rules? Then he approached the master and said, I cannot become a monk, and I will go to the lay life, and I will maintain successful lay life. Then teacher again raised a question, why you are planning to go return to your house? Then said, as a person who cannot, as a person who cannot even protect 5 precepts, how can I discipline with thousands of Vinaya rules? Then the master said, can you protect only 2 things? Then you can become a monk. You can maintain a very, very disciplinary life. Then this person thought that it is easy to control 2 things. Then what are the 2? Well, the master said that you have to control your hands, 2 hands, and you have to control your hands and the mouth. It means that when we are controlling our hand, all the physical unwholesome deeds would be controlled. We cannot engage in unwholesome physical unwholesome deeds without using basically our body. And then we cannot do the verbal actions, unwholesome deeds without using our mouth. So we are doing everything from these 2 organs. Therefore, simply what you have to do is the control in your body and mouth, and then automatically you will control, and you will refrain from the 10 unwholesome and 10 unwholesome deeds, and that is the best way to be born in the heavenly places, avoiding the 4 hills. The second question is, Where can I read more about cycle of samsara and rebirth, reincarnation? So, there are, by the present context, there is an argument whether Buddhism talks about the rebirth or rebecoming. Buddhism doesn't say that punarutpatti, it means the rebirth. It talks about the rebecoming, not the rebirth. We are always, confused with these two words. So therefore, even today, many researches have been done with regard to the rebecoming and the rebirth and the reincarnation. So therefore, through those researches, there are some of the some of the books have been written on this point. So you can read them, you can collect information through them. On the other hand, you can search from the Google regarding the Buddhist view, Buddhist perspective on rebirth, becoming something like that. Hundreds of articles will come. Basically, the reincarnation, regarding the reincarnation, uh, most of the Western scholars have written many articles. Also, you can find them from the Google because of the Tibetan Buddhism, Tibetan tradition. Also, they are believe in the reincarnation. Therefore, you can collect information about that. In basically, what we have to identify is Buddhism doesn't accept the rebirth, but it clearly talks about the rebecoming, that is the punabbhava, not punarutpatti, punabbhava. Bhava means becoming, re means again, and becoming again and again, something like that. So this is another topic that we have to talk about another day. What is the force responsible for all living beings to suffer in samsara? What is the force responsible for all living beings to suffer in samsara? Uh, uh, Dear Mr. David, there is no force. It means that there is no one to force you responsible for the people, for the beings to be suffered in the sansaric existence. You are your savior. So no gods can control you. No Brahmas, no Maras. The Buddha said that no one in the universe cannot avoid in you from suffering in the sansaric life. The Buddha said that atta hi attano nato kohi nato parosya. You are the savior of yourself. No one can save you. No one can avoid you to be to face in the sufferings in your sansaric life. The Buddha said in Dhammapadaya, Attanava katang papang attana sankilissati. You are being defiled, you are being suffered because of the demeritorious and unwholesome deeds you have done by yourself. Attanava katang papang attana sankilissati. Attana akatang papang attana visujjati. One can become purified because of the meritorious deeds, wholesome deeds you have done only by yourselves. No one can do meritorious things for you. Therefore, suddhi asuddhi pacchattan nanyamanye visodaye, the purity or the impurity would be decided, would be judged by only by yourself, not by any other person. Even the Buddha could not avoid Venerable Devadatta to be born in his in his four lawful places like Apaya. So even his uncle Suprabuddha, he was not. Buddha said that Tumme hikichang atappang akkataro tathagata. The Buddhas will show the path. You are responsible in going through that path. Therefore, you are the responsible force in maintaining and controlling your sansaric life. Termination of the sansaric life would be decided according to your behavior, not any other's behavior. I suppose that you understood very well.
Bhante, further to Brother David's question, could we also say that tanha or craving is a element that's responsible for all living beings being in
Yes,
samsara?
that is correct. In philosophically, tanha is the main force, driving force for us to be born, going on the sansaric existence. According to the philosophical teaching, that is the way. The Buddha said that Pono Bhavika Nandi Raga Sahagata Tatra Tatra Vinandini Sayati Dan Kamatanha Bhavatanha Vibhavatanha. That is the cause leading to suffering. But the thing is that tanha is done by ourselves. So therefore, what we have to identify is we are talking about craving and craving and craving. So we don't know, we don't identify, understand that craving is because of by whom. So therefore, it is because of ourselves. Finally, we have to identify is while tanha or craving leads us to sansaric life, we have to be mindful and we have to be very intelligence to identify to overcome the craving by practicing our good deeds in our sansaric life. So that is also a good explanation. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhante. I think that's all the questions that we have received this evening. Um, there was a question at least from Sister Eva, who asked whether you can follow any course. Sister Eva, you can just email us at info@buddhistmahavihara.org for more information about courses at the Buddhist Mahavihara. So just to recap, it's info@buddhistmahavihara.org. For those of you who like to further their knowledge on Buddhist studies, we have the Kesari Dhammananda Institute that conducts courses from the Buddhist and Pali University of Sri Lanka. With that, we've come to the end of this evening's Dhamma sharing. And as to recap, I think what Bhante mentioned is whatever we are doing, we have to keep redoing it, all the good things. So you, irrespective of what it is, whether it's giving dana or whether it's listening to the Dhamma talk, whether it's sponsoring a Dhamma talk, even, and we have to thank our sponsors especially for letting us have this opportunity to listen to the Dhamma. And this evening, we'd like to thank Bhante, Dr. Yasassi, for taking time off to be with us, to share the Dhamma with us. Bhante, before you go, could you please conduct the Anumodana for all the departed beings in the Devas?
So now we are at the end of today's Dhamma talk, especially based on the Udaya Sutta. So I suppose that so many people participated in this. Dhamma talk, and some of the people I saw the names of the screen who have been sponsored to today's Dhamma sharing, Dhamma talk. Therefore, first of all, we will transfer merits to the gods and the deities, and may gods and deities be peace and happy in their in their life, and the protection of the deities would be given to the world and may the protection of the may the protection of the deities be overcome the COVID-19 pandemic from the world. So, secondly, I would like to transfer merits to the dead and gone, especially the today's Dhamma share, the sponsors of the today's Dhamma shaman, Dhamma sharing, Miss Corina Ho and family, Imo Ho Toilie family, Mr. and Mrs. Lam Konchun. May they be blessed by the holy triple gem and all the meritorious deeds we have gained through listening to this Dhamma sermon, Dhamma talk, and all the participants. May you be well and happy. May all your dreams come true due to the merits that we gain through this meritorious deeds. So, wish you all the best and take care and save your life from this pandemic. So, wishing you a very happy full life. I wind up today's talk. Thanks for patience hearing and attending this Dhamma sharing. Akasatha cha bummatta deva naga mahiddika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakhantu loka sasanang akasatha cha bummatta Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkantu Loka Sasanang Akasatta Bummata Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakkantu Loka Sasanang Abhivadana Silis Nichang Uddha Pachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno Sukang Balang आयुरारोग्य संपत्ति सग्ग संपत्ति में वच अतो निब्बान संपत्ति मिनाते समिज्जतु साधु साधु साधु.
Thank you, Bhante, for conducting the Anumodana. So, on behalf of all the monks of the Buddhist Mahavihara and the committee management, we'd like to thank Bhante Dr. P. Yasassi, Thera, for taking time off from his busy university schedule to be with us this evening. And we look forward to more sharings. And I spoke to Bhante, maybe hopefully we can get him back at the Dhammadana series next July, coming July, for another interesting topic. And also to our sponsors this evening, thank you very much for your sponsorship. May you get the blessings of the Holy Triple Gem. And to our listeners and the viewers who have been following us throughout the whole last hour or so, thank you for listening to us and hope you will keep joining us every Friday and every Sunday here at the Dhammadana series on our Facebook page. With that, please have a pleasant evening, one and all. Sadhu, Sukhi Hotu.
Sukhi Hotu.